Hello everyone. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about active imagination and dream work, pretty much in detail, all of my different sessions, how I've been utilizing active imagination, because I'm sure it varies from person to person depending on how you decide to practice. So I'll share my specific practice with you, and maybe it's something you can try out for yourself to see if, it's something that helps. And I might even crack into some of my dreams, and we could even go through how dream work has been helping me. But before that, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Christian. I go by Morning Coffee, spelled Mourning, because here we alchemize our pain into something beautiful, whether it be music, poetry, or a morning talk such as this. And so without further ado, I'd like to get into active imagination. So I've been doing shadow work for over a year now, and I just got really into Jungian psychology. And it's just so fascinating, the life of Carl Jung and a lot of the really groundbreaking work that he's done for analytical psychology, and just the relationship to the subconscious, or the unconscious mind, rather. And to be completely honest, it's absolutely integral to shadow work, if you want to integrate that shadow side, which is essentially the subconscious or unconscious parts of ourselves that are on a day-to-day basis either suppressed, or they come out in knee-jerk ways, whether it be like little anger outbursts, or just like little things that we're not even really paying attention to, that might not even be a healthy expression of the unconscious, because we usually deem things that are negative and undesirable as alien from us, and it's not who we are, so we must suppress them, or we must detach ourselves from them. And true shadow work, it not just involves relating to these different sides and looking at these different sides and processing these different sides of us, but also reintegrating them back into the conscious realm, so that way we can be conscious of these different parts of ourselves and have a better hold over what's going on. So active imagination, how I've been practicing it is I've been using my daily meditations, and whenever I feel called to, especially when I'm just being plagued by fear of failure or self-doubt, or any of these things that have always been lifelong struggles for me, whenever I'm visited by these sides of me, I allow myself to, especially once I'm in a deep meditative state already, I allow myself to interact with them as if they're separate entities from me, even though they are just other aspects of myself. I mean, all active imagination is exactly what you think it is. It's you're actively interacting with your imagination, whether it be through dialogue or through visualization. I try to pair the two together. And this is how it works for me. So say I'm being visited by the fear of failure, essentially. In that meditation, feeling that fear or that feeling, I, under my breath, will speak, show yourself, or reveal yourself. And then that fear, without me trying to think about it, just letting my imagination run wild, that fear then takes physical form. And more recently, it's been taking the form of Loki from the Marvel universe, which is kind of funny, because Loki is known as the trickster god, and so what better representation for, my own inner trickster, my own inner devil, so to speak, than to have the devil horned trickster god himself, Loki, manifest. And what's interesting is that when I'm in dialogue with this aspect of me, in this active imagination session, it's very, very easy for the mind to want to create the dialogue from the unconscious. But the thing is that you can't, at least for me, the most authentic sessions that I've had is when I am doing the active dialogue for myself, and whatever psychically comes through immediately, whether it's spoken by the entity or it's just felt through their energy, and I'm just telepathically given the answer, it's whatever comes first, just like with the visualization. So the last thing that I think you want to do when you're practicing active imagination is try to spend too much time on what it looks like, what it sounds like, what the response is, because there are a few sessions that I've had where I would ask questions and I wouldn't get any answers. Even telepathically, I wouldn't get any answers. It would all just be in the face, as if to tell me, whence reading these facial expressions, that I already have the answers that I'm seeking, at least in that specific session. But what's fascinating too is one of the sessions I manifested this big, and it was doubt. It was specifically doubt that was visiting me. This big, scary, almost like a labyrinth-esque, like Guillermo del Toro creature, like the thing that had the eyes and the hands, like that. The pale, I think it's the pale one is what he's considered. I don't remember the name of it, but that manifested. And almost immediately, whenever I'm interacting with these things, I'm never reacting to how scary they look or how, I guess intimidating the dialogue might be, because these aspects of me want me to fear them. They want me to feel combative and go up against them. But I have this, thankfully, because of all of the meditating I've been doing and all of the mindfulness practices that I have for myself already going, I'm meeting each one of these aspects of me with softness. Like with this creature that manifested as doubt, I asked, instead of, who are you? What are you doing? Why are you making me feel this way? Instead of the persecuting line of questioning I could have gone with, I asked how it was feeling. And almost immediately, all the features started to soften. And I saw sadness. And then I just simply asked, why do you feel sad? What's wrong? And it just decided to sit down. And I sat down with it, just to listen to it. And as it was, kind of venting a little bit, I told it, it's okay. It's okay. The fact that you're here visiting me right now just shows how much you care about me. And I really do appreciate that. But you have nothing to worry about. We're going to be okay. It might not feel like it right now, but trust me. And as I said that, it just kept shrinking and shrinking and shrinking down to this more like chibi, kind of plushy looking version of itself. And towards the end of it, it looked happy. And I remember the way that active imagination session ended was I hugged this doubt, this creature that it originally manifested in a terrifying form. I hugged this little plushy thing and said, thank you. And then it just vanished. It's kind of funny, the symbolism behind all of it. as I've been doing these active imagination sessions, because I try not to force them to come up, I try not to force myself to do them. It's only when I feel like, okay, show yourself, when I'm in a meditative state. Because it's always through, during a meditation session that I then do my active imagination sessions. Because I realize that I need to be in a much more calm, almost like trance state. Another way to do it is through dreams, but my dreams are a little bit crazier. And I'll even go through one specifically right now, at random too, so this isn't even like specific. Okay. There's a few long ones. Oh my God. And the thing about dream work specifically, now that we're shifting towards dream work, the thing about dream work is that the simple act of writing down your dreams really does add an extra layer of consciousness to what is ruminating within us. And so it's another way to just have an active dialogue. I forget who said this, but like active imagination sessions and dream work is akin to having an active conversation with God, essentially, because you're talking specifically to the subconscious and you're bringing the unconscious to life. Okay, we'll go with this one. And this was on the 10th. I booked time at a practice space for either the Foxfires or Passing Planets, two bands I used to be in, that I was splitting with the cost of my friend Kaylee's band. So naturally I was upset when my bandmates were no-shows and weren't taking my efforts seriously. Story of my life. This is things that I've actually experienced before. And, you know, my natural response, I want to put more of myself into what I'm doing when I'm involved with other people. And if they're not meeting that effort, I feel like it's a waste and I'm really frustrated. So here it's manifesting in my dreams. Later at Tommy's house, the drummer of my current band, Morning Coffee, later at Tommy's house, I'm watching something while he's playing drums. Since I still have my acoustic guitar from earlier, I asked him if he'd like to practice before our show the next day. Just casually. And that mirrors what essentially is happening with Morning Coffee. Things are so much more freeform and casual, and there's less pressure that things just come easier, which is incredible. So of course it's manifesting in this dream. The initial feelings present are frustration due to wasting time and money on people that aren't meeting my level of effort, followed by the feeling of calm and support with my good friend Tommy. I've had a wonderful time listening to This Jungian Life, which is a podcast. And when they're doing dream analysis, they typically have people submit how they were feeling in the dream towards the end after describing it. So that's why I ended that one with that. Another one really quick is I had a dream the other night that I was in the streets with my roommate Rob, and there was a bunch of other people too, but the streets were flooded, and it was deep too, flooded with water. And coming through, and we were in the streets too, so in the water, and coming through these flooded streets were orcas, anywhere between 10 to 30 feet long, behemoths. Literally, I've never felt so small and helpless in my entire life. And because of the intelligence of these creatures, I was absolutely terrified. Because not only were these way smarter than sharks, but way bigger. And I was just desperately trying to get out of the water. And there was other people I was trying to help out of the water that unfortunately I was unsuccessful. It was almost like the water, I guess, was rushing. And it's just like the amount of orcas and how big they were running through this water was just unreal. And there was a baby orca that was like maybe 5 feet long, so still huge. A baby orca that like jumped up and I guess like grabbed something. I don't know what it was eating, but I think it was playing with like a flotation device, like it was like a pool or something. You know, and I went up to it and, you know, like I was still cautious because like orcas, right? And I think the dream was a mixture of like, I'm just so fascinated by animals in general, and I watch a lot of nature documentaries, but behind the you know, what was happening, you know, the surface level stuff, I think the dream was essentially just a manifestation of time keeps going, the rushing waters, and you can't stop it. You have to go with it. And here comes all these unpredictable situations, these giant, crazy changes in the form of orcas. And they could be life-threatening, life-ending even. And there's nothing that I can really do in the face of something that's completely out of my control, as much as I want to be in control somewhat. So it's, again, another dream manifesting in a crazy way to just have me be confronted with my feeling of not being in control of my life and not being in control of these situations that are outside of me. You know, it's just so fascinating how it manifested. So those are some dreams that I've been through, as if they're ordeals. And I hope that active imagination, the way that I do it, if you'd like to try it, let me know in the comments below once you give it a shot, if it's something that you're seeing results from, because I've been seeing more results just bringing the subconscious to light. And if there's different techniques that you use, please let me know about them, because I am all about being open and growing and trying new things. And so thank you for tuning in, and hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day.